Try to picture this. You're living 50,000 years ago. No house, no locks on the door, no savings in a bank account. The one thing keeping you alive tomorrow morning is what the people around you think of you. Sound dramatic? Think again. Now imagine, because of one tiny mistake, everyone in your group suddenly starts looking at you differently. This isn't just embarrassing. This is life and death. And here's the part that'll give you chills. We're about to find out why that fear is still wired into our brains today. In this video, I'm going to take you inside the mind of an early human who lost their standing in the group. What actually happens to their body and mind? Why was this considered way more dangerous than getting attacked by a wild animal? And halfway through, there's one fact that's going to flip everything you thought you knew about who actually held the most respect in a prehistoric group. And here's the big one. That instinct is still alive inside us right now. It just moved to a different stage. Okay, so here's the deal. Early humans couldn't survive alone. Period. Unlike a lion that can roam solo for days, humans are actually pretty helpless on their own. No sharp claws, no fangs. We can't even outrun the animals we're hunting. We had exactly one weapon: the group. Now, inside these small groups, usually somewhere between 20 and 50 people, there was this invisible social map that everyone in the group knew by heart. Who's the most respected? Who's trusted to lead the big hunt? Who gets first pick of a partner? Whose voice actually matters when something goes wrong? Anthropologists call this social status, or in today's terms, clout. And this status wasn't just about ego or feelings. It was direct access to food during a famine, to protection when danger showed up, to someone actually bothering to help you when you were sick and couldn't hunt. So if that status disappeared, what else disappeared along with it? Picture this. You're on a hunting party. You get handed something important. Guard one narrow path between the trees so the prey can't escape through it. And then you fail. You were too tired, or your focus slipped for 1 second, and the animal gets away right in front of you. The whole party goes home empty-handed. No meat to share that night. In the modern world, a mistake like that gets you chewed out by your boss. You show up to work the next day like normal, and everyone forgets about it in a week. But for early humans, this could be the start of something way heavier. Why? Because in a small group like this, your reputation doesn't just reset. There's no new office to transfer to. There's no other town to start over in. You're going to see the same people every single day, probably for the rest of your life. So one big mistake could stick to your name forever. Every time a new hunt came up, people would remember, oh, this is the one who let the prey get away. What would it even feel like living in a world with no reset button?
This is the part that'll give you chills. Once your reputation is damaged beyond repair and the group decides you're more of a burden than an asset, the most extreme consequence is exile. You get kicked out of the group. Sounds like just getting the cold shoulder, right? But practically speaking, this was basically a death sentence, just without the execution. Why so extreme? Because alone in the wild, with no group, you've got nobody watching your back while you sleep at night. Nobody to share food with when a famine hits. Nobody to help you when a big predator shows up out of nowhere. Alone, an early human's odds of survival dropped fast. We're talking weeks, not years. Some evolutionary researchers even argue that the fear of social exclusion got hardwired into the human brain a long, long time ago. Not just an ordinary feeling, but a survival alarm running deep in your subconscious. So think about it. That nervous feeling you get today, worrying about being judged by other people, worrying about not being invited, worrying about getting pushed out of your friend group, that's actually the same ancient alarm still going off in your head right now. Only difference is the stakes aren't literally life or death anymore.
Okay, this is the part that might change the way you think about early humans. A lot of people assume that in a prehistoric group, the most respected person had to be the strongest, the best hunter, the one who could beat up anyone who stepped out of line. Turns out, it's not that simple. Research on hunter-gatherer communities still living today with lifestyles similar to early humans, like certain communities in Africa and South America that anthropologists study a lot, shows something pretty surprising. The most respected person in these groups usually wasn't the physically strongest. It was the most generous, the one who shared the hunt fairly, even with people who didn't go hunting that day, the one who was easiest to work with, without a bunch of drama. On the flip side, people who were too arrogant, showed off their strength, or forced themselves into the spotlight actually tended to get quietly frozen out. Nobody would call them out directly, but over time, that person ended up isolated. So it turns out status that actually lasted was never really about how strong or how impressive you looked. It came down to how much other people could trust you. Sound familiar? Kind of like the workplace or friendships today, right?
Luckily, losing your status didn't always end in tragedy. There was a way back up. One way was through oversharing, deliberately giving other people a bigger share of the hunt than what was actually fair. This was basically a social investment, building up a sense of debt, so the people around you would slowly start backing you up again. Another way was through storytelling around the campfire. This wasn't just nighttime entertainment. Stories were used to rebuild your image, reminding the group of what you'd done for them in the past, about contributions people might have already forgotten. So if you think about it, that campfire storytelling ritual was, in a way, the ancient version of what we now call personal branding. And here's the interesting part. This pattern never really went away. Now you swap the campfire for social media, and stories about past achievements for the wins you show off on your feed. The form is different, but the engine's the same. The need to be recognized by the group all over again. So back to that question from the beginning. What actually happens when an early human loses their status in the group? The answer? The stakes weren't just a moment of embarrassment. The stakes were survival itself. Food, protection, even who's going to help you when you're hurt. And maybe that's why, even today, we still get that overwhelming anxious feeling when a friend ghosts us, when our post barely gets any likes, or when we're scared of looking like a failure in front of everyone. That's not being dramatic. That's an ancient instinct that existed way before social media, way before offices or schools even existed. It just moved its stage to the phone screen in our hands now. So maybe the more important question to sit with is, how often are your everyday decisions actually being driven by the fear of losing status, without you even realizing it? If this video made you rethink our social instincts, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on chill, educational videos like this every week. Next week, we're going to dig into something just as jaw-dropping. See you in the next video.